And that's what it is.
So what- so does it
No, it
exist?
doesn't because
Does it exist? And I have one word for you.
I we see at this meeting.
Followed up by the city.
Anyways.
All right, Greenville City Council will come to order. Call the roll.
Brown.
Here.
Ely. Here. Godwin.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Whitaker.
Here.
All right, welcome everybody. Special meeting. I will take a motion to rise the committee of whole to discuss the purchasing of a new fire truck.
So moved.
Okay, I can call the roll on that. Yeah, call the roll.
Brown.
Here.
Ely.
Here.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Mr. Delk. Hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I may, I guess the first person I'd like to call to the stand is.
Raise your right hand.
And I've asked him just to kind of explain, where we at with the fire trucks that we currently have and what we're trying to replace and why we're trying to replace it. And then we can get in the financial side of things.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I'll do my best.
Russ, if you could just state your name and everything sits on the record.
Russ Thompson, Fire Chief for the City of Greenville.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this project is new apparatus purchase. What the project entails is replacing engine 143, which is a 1997 Pierce pumper, and utility 161, which is a 1974 Mack utility. They give you, so what this project does is takes the capabilities of both those fire apparatus and combine them into one. So the new apparatus is the same as engine 143 as far as it still holds 750 gallons of water. It still has a 1,500 gallon per minute pump. And then it's got excessive storage on it, which is basically a rescue body. So what this allows us to do is everything on 161 will not be incorporated in this engine. One of the main things 161 is used as is currently is it's our air unit for refilling our SCBA bottles on the fire ground. And then it also carries specialized equipment for our technical rescue efforts for like confined space, angle rescue and whatnot. So all that equipment is going to be now on one apparatus. So we considered, if you're not aware, we also have a 1995 Pierce, which is 2 years older than the 97, but it's actually in a lot better condition, probably because we've owned it from day one. The 97 is a used apparatus. I believe we were the third owner. We purchased it back in like 2007, 2008 timeframe. So it's got more mechanical issues, more rust issues and whatnot than 1995 Pierce. So we're going to continue stretching the life out of the 95 Pierce as best we can. Because it's actually getting close to due replacement, but like I said, we're going to try and stretch it.
Chief, what's the water capacity on the new unit you're looking at?
The water capacity.
Yeah.
So it's 750 gallons will be the tank and the pump will be a 1,500 gallon per minute pump.
Okay.
So it's the same. The current 97 Pierce has that same configuration, a 750 gallon pump. And they were tank and a 1,500 GPM pump.
Okay. And in your opinion on eliminating two apparatus, one doesn't carry water, one does, we're okay with our ISO classification as far as a fire protection class 4 for the city of Greenville?
Yes, sir. I don't see any change because ISO is more concerned about water and pump capacity. And we're still the same. We still got 4 apparatus between the 2 aerials and the 2 engines. That did not change. All it changed was that we're losing a dedicated storage box on wheels with an air unit, which we get little credit on that with ISO from my last remembrance to going through that process.
Actual SCBA refill part out.
Right. Yeah, even the new design, it's not nearly as big of a air cascade system that was on that 161. It's still fully capable of filling our bottles on our typical structure fires here in the city without requesting mutual aid.
Okay. And that on the new unit that you're proposing, right?
It has that air unit capability, just a smaller version.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The cab size on this truck that you're wanting to order, is it, how many people in the cab? Is it totally enclosed in?
So we designed this one with a 5-person cab. So your driver, your officer, and 3 jump seats in the back.
That's enclosed, right?
What's that?
That's all enclosed.
Correct.
Everything enclosed now.
Yes, same closed cab.
You have a picture of it?
No,
You don't have a rendering of what this thing's supposed to look like?
I can come up with one. And give you an idea of what it looks like. Especially since there's nothing in our fleet quite like this because of the fact that it's got built-in coffin space on top where we're all used to having hose beds and whatnot. It still has that, but it also has that extra storage space up on top. Which is where we'll be carrying most of our technical rescue equipment will be up in those coffins.
And what company are you getting this from?
Pierce Manufacturing. So we're using Atlantic Solutions, which is our dealer here in Ohio. But the truck is actually by Pierce Manufacturing, which is what our current fleet, both our aerials and our engines are all Pierce.
No, we don't pay for it.
Yeah. Now the financial part.
So that's always about my pay grade.
Chief, talking about the 95, then when do you see it maybe needing replaced at some point?
I really, I don't, excuse me, I really don't have a projection on it. Like I said, right now, it's actually still running really great. We have minimal issues with it. With everything that we're doing, and granted, we're not gonna see this vehicle for 31 months or whatever it would be. 141, which is 95 Pierce, is primarily a mutual aid engine. So like when we leave the city, go somewhere else's structure fire, that's typically the apparatus that we take unless they're especially calling an aerial. And then it does some of the other calls in the state. And the other thing it really does for us is it provides us another piece for our off-duty personnel to respond to when we have our own structure fires in the city, when they're responding back here from off-duty.
So it's not a real priority.
No, I hate to use the terminology because we don't have, we're too small, our fleet's too small to use this, but I'm going to. I don't like the terminology, it'll become basically a reserve piece.
Okay.
So it'll still continue to run mutual aid when needed. And it'll go on other calls in the city as needed, especially, if we have a storm or anything like that, and I got my whole department in here, then we're obviously going to run the wheels off of it during that period of time where we need it. So again, as long as we continue doing annual maintenance until our maintenance company catches something catastrophic, we're going to maintain it and keep it on surface as long as we can.
Thanks.
So Russ, with the talks and everything going on with the joint, right? Does this piece fit? Like if next year we merge all these together, does that piece fit with what everybody else has?
Yes, sir. So whether we merge or not, this piece of apparatus will still be needed.
Okay.
So even if we merge, and that was identified when we had consultants and they looked at, we told them what this plan was. Along with the administration chiefs of Greenville Township, of how this would affect them with this piece. And so everyone's on the same page that this piece will benefit the department, no matter if we merge or if we don't merge.
Okay.
Now, the 95 Pierce would come into play. It's part of my decision not to be asking you to replace multiple pieces right now, because we do know that we may do something in Greenville Township, and if we do that, 95 Pierce will go away one day.
Okay.
We would not need it no more if we combine.
So we're probably, like, if we did move forward, we'd probably finance this for 10 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so today or tomorrow is 2033. What would you be coming to us with? I know you're probably retired.
I hope I'm retired.
Yeah. But what would be the next piece that we would need to buy?
So to be honest, if we haven't addressed that 95 Pierce, that's going to be somewhere in that latter 6 to 10 year period that we're going to start figuring. I would hope we're starting to figure something out. That means that we did not merge with the township in any form or fashion. And now we have that need to replace that engine, and we'll have to really consider that. The next major piece will be the Quint 172. I believe that's a 2011.
Look at that, yeah, 2011.
Yeah.
So if we go 30 years on that, You're looking at what, 41? If we can stretch it out, I keep in mind that that is the busiest piece in the city. I don't know if we can stretch that particular piece to 30 years. The other problem that somebody's going to face is that the platform that is getting ready to be paid off, it will be right behind it. They're not that far in age, they're two years apart.
Yeah.
So we were, can't think of my word. I lost my word. The pool was purchased by an AFG FEMA grant.
Right.
So the city only paid about 10% of the value of that apparatus and FEMA paid the rest of it. So that was great back in the time. We were able to get rid of another 1970 piece of apparatus that by going to the Quint concept, FEMA got on board and we got that apparatus. We probably will not be able to get another FEMA grant. You know, the current rules and everything, the likelihood of the city getting our app, this is slim. So we actually tried to get, in 2018, we built this apparatus. And we spent 2 years trying to get a FEMA grant and it was denied both years. But the third time before we submitted, I actually reached out to a consultant that actually does nothing but AFG grants and he looked over. Although we had a great argument and a case for combining two vehicles and saving all kinds of money in that process. Our fleet's just too new overall. And even though we consider our stuff old, there's actually departments out there, really small, rural departments that, I mean, they're driving stuff 45 years old. They're the ones that are getting the money in Ohio for apparatus replacement. Okay. So not the 25 to 30-year-old apparatus is typically replaced.
Right. And you're right, that Quint gets used on.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered your question. The way I look at this, unless something changes down the road, the city is always going to have an apparatus payment. Because as soon as you pay one off, like we're just paying off the ladder, we don't turn around and buy something else that needs replaced and you're going to finance it for 10 years. But when you're done with that, it's time for something else to be replaced. So unless the city finds another way to set aside funds or whatnot for major apparatus purchase in the future, then this is the payment plans what we're looking at.
Yep. And I think there needs to be something, so much money set aside, you know, where we're saving it, not borrowing it. And, you know, maybe that's something we could look at in the budget. Is set a certain amount back each month or whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, so it's back on you. How we
Back on me, how we gonna pay for it? Okay. So, you know, just to kind of piggyback off what Russ has said, so everyone is aware. So Russ started kind of to put this thing together a few months ago. And the plan was like, we knew that the ladder truck, the last payment was coming up in 2023. And kind of as we started to build it and move forward, that's when the manufacturers were like, well, if you wait, then you're going to look at a 6% increase. We were looking at two different trucks at the time and then decided to go the Pierce route. So Pierce is having a 6% increase in November 1. So that's why we're all here tonight a little earlier, you know, because you do the math and it's like $67,000, almost $68,000. So it's like, well, you put that together and then you put that with, if we pay one full payment, you know, you also get another $68,000. So that's 1 year that you're saving. And, you know, we have this talk all the time. It's never going to get any cheaper than it is today. So it's a need, and we know it's a need in the near future to move forward. So it was like, why not try to go after it now and start these discussions? So I don't want to speak for the auditor. We met about it today. So we would do a 10-year lease to purchase option. Right now from two companies that Pierce hooked us up with, one's 4.81%, one's 4.91% interest rate over 10 years. First payment would do October of 2022. For the 4.9 one, it's 145,681.78 for 10 years, and the 4.81 one, it's 144,973.59 for 10 years. I have reached out to a local bank, and kind of after tonight's meeting, I'll contact them on which direction we're gonna go. But they were pretty confident they could get us like a 4.5% interest rate. That's just gonna bring that down a little more. So your worst case scenario is your 481, and that's a 10-year payment of 144,973.59. The setback to it all is in 2023, we would have to make this payment and the last payment on the ladder truck, which is around $111,000. So talking with Auditor Wellman, as we spoke today, it's can we make it work? Can we afford it? Well, it's going to get a lot easier in 2024 when that other payment comes off of there. In 2023, we don't know because we don't have all our CIP, we don't have our carryover, and we don't have our CIP submissions from all the departments. Paving comes out of that, and police cruisers and dump trucks and loaders, whatever all the other departments need. So right now we're sitting really good, but to sit here and say that we're not going to have to not purchase one thing in 2023 to be able to afford this is kind of where we are. And we, as we discussed it today, we just said, hey, we're just gonna have to make this work for year one to reap those benefits of not costing an additional $140,000 really. But that's how we're gonna pay for it. Question?
So with getting this and replacing the equipment that we're replacing, I know the older truck, there's probably not much value at that point, but I mean, what happens? What, 31 months? So whenever that time frame hits, then we'll dispose.
Yeah, so both of those will be sold on gov deals.
So would those funds then be, where do we go from there? Or is there?
I'll just give you some accurate information. It's not the most accurate. So yesterday I reached out to my sales rep for Atlantic/Pierce, trying to figure out what 97 Pierce is going to be worth here in a couple of years when we go to get rid of it. He has a short time frame, so he hasn't got back with me on that, but I had to do some research on the fire trailer, which is connected somehow to the gov deals. You can see the same stuff. And from what I saw, if we get $10,000 for that 97 Pierce, you had a pretty good day.
Really?
They're just not going for a whole lot. And 161, again, it's going to be that special department and maybe a volunteer department out there that looks at that 1974 Mac and says, we really need a cascade system, and that's the selling feature for it. Again, you're not going to get $10,000 for that piece either. So,
I was curious. I didn't know what.
Just letting you know, I mean, yes, we know when we sell stuff on gov deals, it goes back into the capital improvement program. I'm just letting you know up front that it's not going to be a lot of money.
I got it. All right. Thank you.
And said he's going to turn it into a new wave wagon.
I mean, when you're talking this kind of numbers. Any other questions? So what's city council thoughts?
There's this lady over
Roxanne has to say, please.
Okay, we did talk about this earlier today, Ryan and Kim and myself. Our biggest hurdle is going to be in 2023 where we have a double payment to make.
Right.
However, this is going to be coming out of CIP. And basically those are monies that are carried over from any excess that we have from the budget from the prior year. And we can always trim with other equipment. I mean, we will not be able to buy everything that we need possibly if it gets tight next year. So, but it's definitely doable. And I think obviously that if we do it sooner, we're going to save ourselves some substantial money. And that's another factor to take into consideration. I was thinking we were going to get a little more money out of those other two pieces, but he shot that down. So
Where you Russ?
anyway,
And the other, I guess, two big expense items, equipment wise, would be, and Mr. Myers in here as far as the street department. Is there anything coming up street department needs, or Chief Roberts, are we okay after all the incidences with the cruisers, or how close are we to being up to speed on your fleet?
The one damaged cruiser is back.
Okay.
It is back in service. We are looking at taking the insurance money we had on another one and possibly buying a used cruiser. Lieutenant Planner has been nothing short of spectacular at looking stuff up like that.
Right.
Obviously, they just don't build it like they used to. In our cars, our run 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we do a lot, they accumulate wear and tear, and it doesn't help when people ran into them.
That's right. And two of them on the same incident, yeah. But your fleet, with the new addition we just had, are you set with the repaired vehicle or you need an SRO vehicle?
We still need that, and that was one of the damaged cruisers. We replaced that. So we're keeping,
Status quo for,
yeah, the vehicle I drive is a decommissioned cruiser, so it still gets me point A to point B, and I don't have anybody wear fast.
right,
So, but we're looking at possibly getting a used cruiser. It's a mommy. Lieutenant Planner is trying to work out something with them.
yeah, and that'll be like an SRO vehicle though, that you need. Okay.
Would they be interested in an old fire truck? Yeah, and Ryan, from the street department standpoint, is there any major pieces that we were looking at for 2023?
Nothing, the major piece was the loader that was purchased back at the end of, or I guess beginning of 22, I think is when we actually received it. There's a dump truck on there that we replaced that's up there, but nothing, not a major,
I mean, the leaf vacs okay, the street sweepers okay,
So those items come out of Storm, so it's a different account.
okay,
So we're good there. Your sewer flusher, your leaf vac, your sewer flusher comes out of wastewater.
Okay.
And then the other ones you mentioned come out of Storm. So the big ones that come out of are like all your excavation equipment, your dump trucks, your pickup trucks, things of that nature. Now, the problem has been that we haven't been able to replace them because we can't get them.
can't get them.
We have a couple right now. I think we needed 4 throughout all the departments, and I think they let us order 2. Last I checked, they hadn't let us order a new dump truck yet,
Just because they're not there.
just because they're not there to fulfill the 2022 CIP submissions. So that could potentially get us behind, but there's already dollars set aside for those.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of want to look at whether it's water department, street department, police department, just to get a handle on things on wheels that may need replaced next year that would interrupt the cash flow for Roxanne.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You also estimated delivery, what, 25?
21 months.
Is there a way to push the first payment? Or
What's that?
is there a way to push the first payment?
So the way it's set up to get the savings, you have to
Oh.
pay for it on the front end. So then they give you, if you pay for it on the front end, then you save, they knock off another $67,000, I think it is. So you're better off.
On top of the savings from the price increase.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So is that all secure? I mean, law director, you feel comfortable doing that? Like this company couldn't just up and go bankrupt or something,
So many companies can always go bankrupt.
right?
Yeah. I mean, knowing that the reputable company that we're dealing with, it's not a mom and pop shop, it's an authorized dealer for one of the 2 major manufacturers of fire apparatus in the country. So.
Right.
To me, this is equivalent of we're buying a Ford or a Chevy. We're not going and getting, some new startup company. Then I'd be a little bit more concerned.
Okay. All right, so what's city council's thoughts? Do you want to move ahead and put legislation?
I'm we go ahead and do this.
I think we should. Okay, so we good talking as far as committee whole. I'll exit from this, and then we have 2 resolutions, 1 resolution, 1 ordinance, and then we'll add this resolution. So I'll take a motion to rise out of or exit out of committee of whole.
Committee of the whole.
Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, so we are adding number 3 on this ordinance and resolutions. So we need a motion to amend the
Move
agenda.
to approve the agenda. And add number 3.
Okay, it's been moved to amend the agenda, add number 3 resolution for the fire apparatus. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely. Yes. Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
All right. Move on to ordinance resolutions. First ordinance is a supplemental. This was given the first reading last Tuesday.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022. This supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund, swimming pool maintenance and operating fund, public transportation fund, and enforcement and education fund in the sum as follows. Insurance, municipal building in the amount of $2,400. These funds are needed due to the increased insurance costs for 2022. Sidewalk program, light poles / street utilities in the amount of $15,295. These funds are needed for engineering services for the sidewalk program. Office supplies, swimming pool in the amount of $300. These funds are needed due to the increased insurance cost for 2022. Insurance, public transportation in the amount of $800. These funds are needed due to the increased insurance cost for 2022. New equipment, enforcement, and education in the amount of $7,075. These funds are needed to replace a watch guard camera for the police department.
Do you suspend the rules, give us resolutions third reading by title only?
All right, it's been moved to read this ordinance by Mr. Rogers, third time, title only. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Greenville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022.
To adopt.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker to adopt. Discussion. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 2, we have a resolution authorizing safe service director into a contract with Choice One for phase 1 sidewalk project, which was giving the first reading last week.
A resolution authorizing the safety service director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering for professional services related to phase 1 sidewalk project. This resolution authorizes the safety service director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional services in 2022 relating to the sidewalk project phase 1.
Suspend rules and give this resolution third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, give this resolution reading by title only, third time. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the safety service director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for professional services related to phase 1 sidewalk project.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, next we have number 3 is a resolution authorizing safety service director to enter into a contract with the Atlanta Emergency Solutions for a Pierce fire truck.
A resolution authorizing the safety service director to enter into contract with Atlantic Emergency Solutions for a Pierce fire truck. This resolution authorizes the safety service director to enter into contract to purchase a Pierce fire truck from Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance or resolution. Resolution, second and third reading by title only.
Been moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Move to
Yes.
adopt.
A resolution authorizing the safety service director to enter into contract with Atlantic Emergency Solutions for a Pierce fire truck. A resolution authorizing the safety service director to enter into contract with Atlantic Emergency Solutions for a Pierce fire truck.
And
Move
this,
to adopt.
this does have the emergency clause, right? No, okay. It's been moved to adopt by Mr. Brown. Discussion. I seen emergency and it's like, but it's a emergency vehicle. Okay. Discussion on the motion to adopt. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, that completes the ordinance resolutions. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to adjourn. Call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.